Hey guys, Marcelo here. I know I said I'd be doing top 10s, and I will be getting to those lists soon, but I wanted to do a top 5 today. I haven't seen any lists like top 5s like these around. Maybe I just haven't looked them up, but I wanted to share my top 5 favorite video game genres with you guys. I'm a big gamer, I've been gaming since I was like really young, so these genres are really special to me. Maybe not all of them to certain extents, but we'll get into that right now. So here we go. Number 5. At number 5 we have sports games. Sports games I enjoy once in a while, you know, it's a more casual thing for me, which is kind of ironic because sports are supposed to be like invigorating. But I don't do like FIFA or Viva, whatever it is, FIFA, you know, I'm sorry, FIFA or soccer or, you know, Madden. I don't play those kinds of sports games. I think the closest to that I can kind of get is a little more of an unorthodox game like NFL Street or something like that, NBA Street. The Mario sports games are pretty fun for me. Again, I don't play those often though. Like I do have Mario Strikers, Mario Baseball, tennis, golf, Mario Sports Mix. So once in a while I'll dabble into sports games. Is there any other kind of game in that area? Those are the examples right now that I can think of. There are not a whole lot of sports games I do play, but once in a while when I want to turn my mind off and I'm just like, oh, I'll play with like a friend or my brother, I'll do that. And it'll be something along the lines of Mario Sports, or again, as close to actual kind of like real-ish sports I get is something like NFL Street, which is still a little bit more, I would say, I said unorthodox, but I think it's more of like, not by the book. So, you know, because by the book kind of sports games like Madden, I think I've tried Madden like once and I didn't really get into it very much, but I like them okay. So that's why it's number 5. Number 4. At number 4 we have puzzle games. Puzzle games in regards to like Tetris or like Bejeweled. Those are the really main 2 examples I can think of right now because I don't know what other kinds of puzzle games. And not like puzzle platformers like Zelda or something like that. Like I'm talking about straight up like Bejeweled or something, or Tetris. Those are really the only 2 I can think of at the moment. I know there's dozens others I've probably played. Anyone ever played Luxor 3 on the Wii? I played a little bit of that before and it was pretty fun. My grandma is really into those kinds of games. She's that kind of, she's a gamer. It's really cool that my grandma's a gamer, but those are the kinds of games she likes to play the most. So that'd be like her number 1 or something. Puzzle games are pretty fun for like a once. Dr. Mario is somewhat of a puzzle game, I guess. Or I guess it is a puzzle game. So once in a while, again, if I want to turn my mind off again and just be like, oh, I'll play something that's not too needing to think about it like a whole lot, or, you know, just messing around in it. Not sports, that was my number 5. Puzzle games are usually the way to go for me once in a while. So that's number 4. Number 3. Number 3 is racing games. I used to play Midnight Club a lot when I was younger. I don't have that game anymore, unfortunately. I should probably get it again. The Crash racing games, Crash Team Racing, Crash Nitro Kart, Crash Tag Team Racing are freaking amazing. I love all those. And then you got, of course, Mario Kart. I am really thoroughly super excited for Trackmania Turbo. So, you know, I'm gonna get those kinds of games are for the more than likely you've got friends over for a party or just to hang out. We'll play something along those lines. So racing games are really fun. There's just something like, it's not really something you can turn your mind off for. It's something that you gotta really get into. So I think the first racing game I ever played was in fact Crash Team Racing, and it's a really good racing game. I tried getting into like Super Mario Kart, the very, very first Mario Kart, and Mario Kart 64, and they're okay for what they're worth. But I don't know. I think that racing games should have some really good controls and some really good level design. Level design is one of the main things, and then just other things. If it's more of a wacky like Crash, wacky kind of a racer. You're gonna want some like bizarre out there, you know, items, you know, weapons and stuff. So, and then like with Trackmania Turbo or like some other kinds of games in the Trackmania series, it's or like even Gran Turismo or something, it's a little more grounded in reality, I guess. I mean, I don't know, I haven't really played Gran Turismo before, but there's different varieties out there, of course, and there are still like dozens upon dozens of more racing games I do want to play. So that's why it's my number 3. I really do enjoy racing games. Number 2. If you caught that, I almost said fighting games in number 3. So number 2 is fighting games. I stuttered just a smidge there. See if you guys can catch that. So yeah, number 2, God, Tekken. I just did a digital gaming fan made on Tekken. Tekken is one of my, it was the first and one of my favorite fighting games that I've ever played. Fighting game franchises, and I'll dabble into Mortal Kombat once in a while. Wes is a really huge Mortal Kombat fan. Me, not so much anymore. I kind of used to be back when it was like 2D, you know, Flash, like really like over-exaggerative, that's a word. But even though it's still like that now, like for Mortal Kombat specifically, the whole gruesome violence to it I'm not too fond of. I just don't care for it anymore. But Soul Calibur, Skullgirls, Tekken, Smash Bros, you know, those games are awesome. Smash Bros is what got me into, you know, Mario and Nintendo in general, so fighting games are awesome. They're really, really like, and those are invigorating to play. Is there any more I can say on that? I don't want to keep this as a short segment. There are those technical ones. There are technical fighters, but then there's also ones that you can kind of turn your mind off to that are just like, you can mash the buttons and you'll still probably win. I wouldn't say Smash Bros is one of those, and maybe not so much Tekken either. Mortal Kombat is kind of one of those, I guess. You don't have to know the fatalities, even though that's the main theme of the game. You don't have to know any of that stuff. You just go at it, and you'll win. if you're facing like easy computers. But yeah, fighters are awesome. I know that there are some projects that we're planning to do that may revolve around fighting games. There's ideas that I have, there's ideas Wes has, so I don't know. We'll see how that goes, and yeah, fighting games are awesome. I don't want to ramble on for too long. Now I want to go over some honorable mentions. So these are some of the genres that I do like, that just didn't quite make this list. So here we go. Number 1 favorite video game genre is platformers. It's platformers. You have to know me by now, if you've seen my other videos, to know that I am a huge platformer junkie. Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Rayman. These are all, I've mentioned all of these before. So that's because Crash Bandicoot was the first game, period, that I've ever played. And god damn, I enjoy the level design, just the design of those games in general, were just so clever and so unique. And it's really sad that 3D platformers of that kind are so far and few in recent days, in recent years. But hopefully Yooka-Laylee changes all that, and I hope that seeing that Yooka-Laylee is going to be coming out at some point, that should hopefully get other people, other companies, to be like, let's do more of these. There is still an audience for this genre out there, and I'll vouch for it completely. Now, unfortunately, I can get my PayPal and all that working, and I don't have a credit card, so I can back up Yooka-Laylee. But Wes did, and that's pretty cool. So look out for his name in the credits if they do credit people by name who backed up the project in Yooka-Laylee. But I really do hope that Yooka-Laylee does good, and this gets people, other companies, other developers to both indie and, you know, big time like Naughty Dog and Insomniac to think back like, maybe we could bring Crash back, maybe we could bring Spyro back to their roots and bring it back to what made them so good back in the 90s. And I would just love that to death. I would love that so much. I love 3D platformers. 2D platformers as well. Don't get me wrong. 2D platformers actually made my honorable mentions. So, they're amazing. You know, platformers in general that make you think, make you assess, and if the level design and character design and all of that is like really top notch, then yeah, I love those kinds of games. So, that's why, and I've got, you know, Mighty Jeff as a 3D platformer that I'm developing right now. So, I was inspired by Crash and Spyro and those kinds of games that I grew up with, and that's what you can expect the more info I bring to you guys on that game. So, yeah, for number one, it's definitely 3D platformers. Okay, so that is it. That's my top 5 favorite video game genres. I have other top 10s and top 5s planned, so you can be on the lookout for those soon. Click right here to see my Did You Know Gaming fan made on Tekken. Click over here to see Trash Talk on Westside Studios. So you can give us suggestions for games to go over. Or you can watch Bunny Boy or The Last of Us Suited right there. I had to switch it because it's on Gearshift Media's channel. That's where I actually am right now. So, Caleb, you want to say hi real quick? I think he's working. Click that link right there. I'll give you some time. So. Ooh, but his head blown off. That was awesome. I didn't do that effect, but you know. I should probably give you some time to click the link. So I'll see you guys later. I have to get to work anyway, so yeah. Click the link yet? It's right there.